Well, hey there, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're rolling up our sleeves and diving into what is essentially a hands-on masterclass in farming. We're going to explore the real-world, highly practical skills you'd need as an apprentice farmer. We're talking about the absolute essentials of feeding and caring for farm animals, drawing straight from some foundational agricultural knowledge. It's going to be a lot of fun, so let's get into it.
So, here's our game plan for today. First, we'll look at our bond with farm animals. Then, checking vitals and weight. After that, preparing nutritious animal feed. And finally, first aid and home remedies.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, our bond with farm animals, a historical connection. When learning these skills, nothing beats getting right into the thick of it. Imagine students actively measuring and interacting with the animals, doing so under the watchful eyes of a veterinarian and a local farmer. This hands-on approach, learning through direct observation and professional guidance, is exactly how agricultural knowledge has been passed down for generations. It's literally learning by doing. Now, we collectively call domestic farm animals livestock. And yeah, they obviously make up a huge part of a farmer's wealth and bring in regular income. But, there's a whole other layer to this. Beyond just the economics, these animals genuinely respond to love and care. They literally become part of the farm family. They even provide emotional support. So caring for them isn't just some daily chore. It's a vital, deeply embedded part of a farmer's way of life. It's fascinating to see how this relationship has evolved over time. I mean, did you know our companionship with these animals goes back over 10,000 years? It's true. There are paintings in the Bhimbetka caves in Madhya Pradesh that actually show humans riding decorated horses and bulls. Crazy, right? Then, fast forward to 1960, and we start seeing modern legal frameworks like the Cruelty to Animals Act, stepping in to protect livestock from abuse. And today? Well, today we're still actively expressing our gratitude through incredibly vibrant regional festivals like Pola and Kanuma. Okay, so before we go rushing up to these magnificent creatures, we really need to know how to keep everyone safe. Here's a little professional secret for you. Farm animals get spooked pretty easily by unfamiliar faces. So, step 1, you've got to stay calm. No sudden movements. Step 2, make sure the animals are tied up and maintain a safe distance. Rule number 3 is an absolutely crucial one. Never ever stand directly behind a large farm animal. If they get startled, they might kick. And finally, always make sure you're interacting with them alongside an expert, like a teacher, a farmer, or a vet. Moving right along to Section 2, checking vitals and weight, the clinical assessment. Just like when we go to the doctor, an animal wellness check starts with vital signs. Let's look at respiration rates. You'll notice a pretty clear difference in the data. Normal cattle actually breathe quite heavily, clocking in at anywhere from 25 to 50 breaths per minute. Goats, they're much more relaxed, with a slower rate of 12 to 25 breaths per minute. Knowing these exact baselines is super important because it lets a farmer instantly spot if an animal is stressed out or getting sick. Next up is body temperature. And fair warning, here's where we get into the truly glamorous side of farming. The standard vet procedure is actually very specific. You take a digital thermometer, make sure it's zeroed out, and, well, you carefully insert it into the animal's rectum so the bulb touches the mucous membrane. You have to hold it right there in that position for exactly 1 minute. Once you take it out, and sanitize it, obviously, you've got a highly accurate internal reading. That tells you right away if the animal is fighting off some kind of infection. Now, I've got a practical, real-world problem for us to solve. Body weight is a massive indicator of health, right? It dictates exactly how much feed they need, and, crucially, medical dosages. For a chicken, sure, you just pop it on a normal scale. But think about this. How on earth do you weigh a massive cow, or even a camel, if you don't happen to have a giant, expensive industrial scale sitting out in the barn? Well, this is a perfect example of farm ingenuity. Turns out you don't actually need a giant scale. You can estimate their body weight simply by measuring their physical body dimensions. So you take a basic measuring tape, measure specific girths and lengths on the animal, and plug those numbers into established mathematical formulas, and boom, you get a highly accurate weight estimate. It's an absolutely essential skill to ensure you aren't underfeeding the animal, or worse, accidentally overdosing them on medication. All right, that brings us to Section 3, preparing nutritious animal feed, the science of sustenance. Have you ever heard the term silage? It's honestly an incredible piece of agricultural science. Silage is essentially chopped green fodder that gets packed into a special airtight polyethylene bag. By sealing it up and removing the oxygen, the farmer creates this perfect little environment for anaerobic bacteria to thrive. Those bacteria then create an acidic condition that perfectly preserves the green fodder for a really long time. So it's basically using biology to ensure the herd has access to nutritious green food all year round, even in the off-season. Now, let's compare that silage with dry fodder. Silage is your preserved, slightly acidic green fuel. Dry fodder, on the other hand, is, well, it's dry. And honestly, animals don't always naturally want to eat it. So farmers use a pretty clever trick. They chop up the dry fodder and mix it with a blend of water, jaggery, and salt. It's like adding seasoning. This dramatically improves the taste, making sure the animals happily eat up all the calories and energy they need to stay healthy. And finally, we arrive at Section 4, First Aid and Home Remedies, Healing the Herd. When it comes to keeping animals healthy, vaccination is really a farmer's first line of defense. Take foot and mouth disease, or FMD, for example. It's highly contagious and can sweep through cattle, sheep, goats, and pigs. So to protect the whole herd, farmers maintain a really strict schedule, giving vaccinations every 6 months for animals over 4 years old. And what's great is that these vaccines are usually available entirely free of cost to animal healthcare centers, just to make sure the entire community maintains herd immunity. But, modern vaccines are really only half the story here. Working right alongside modern medicine is this completely fascinating world of traditional home-based treatments. Farmers very frequently whip up their own Ayurvedic remedies using natural ingredients they find right in their surroundings. It's a fantastic, self-reliant way to treat everyday ailments like ticks or an upset stomach. In fact, our sources give us a highly tangible, practical takeaway right here. Say a large cow, we're talking over 200 kilograms, gets a bad bout of indigestion. Here is the exact real-world recipe farmers use to fix it. You ready? You take 10 betel leaves, 20 grams of ginger, 10 grams of pepper, 10 grams of garlic, and 50 grams of rock salt. You pound all of that up together, mix it into some lukewarm water, and give it to the animal every 6 hours. It's a super powerful, easily accessible first aid response, using things you'd mostly find right in a kitchen. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a rather provocative thought that popped up in our source material. We've just spent all this time learning how intimately we have to care for these animals. But think about this. How has the role of farm animals fundamentally changed as we've introduced more and more modern technology and heavy farm machinery? With way less need for animal-based transport and manual labor in the fields, what is our relationship with these incredible creatures going to look like in the next 10,000 years? Take some time to ponder that one. And as always, keep exploring.